Hi, this is Tove Rose with the Happy Theologist Podcast. Thank you for all my subscribers who've been joining. If you're new and you're just checking us out, that's okay. Go on over to toverose.substack.com, register, become a paid subscriber. You get first dibs on everything. All the good stuff. And I'm not kidding. Some of it really is some good stuff. At least that's what people tell me. So my name is Tove Rose. For those of you who don't know, I'll give you just a little bit. I'm a Jewish believer in Jesus. I have been in the entertainment world. I've been in the professional business world. I do theological writing, which is why this is called the Happy Theologist Podcast. And I do lots of other things. I'm also a dad. I want to introduce you to somebody who is, we think, related.
We think we're related.
One of my father's cousins that we...
No, it's your grandfather. No,
my great-grandfather,
actually. We think that Tove's great-grandfather is my grandmother's brother.
So this is Zsiporah.
So there you go.
This is Zsiporah. Yeah. So Zsiporah is awesome. And I don't know, my aunties are probably watching. Oh, do you think she looks a little like you?
Okay, that was really special. It's time we meet. So we discovered we've known each other for years in a very odd way, and that you shared when you were interviewing my husband Michael-David, the harpist.
A previous podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so it turned out Michael called me. He called me from Kansas. He said, "I'm here with Tove Rose," and I said, "Tove Rose? We love Tove Rose. He's our Facebook friend. He's really popular." And Michael said, "Well, I have something else to tell you." I said, "Okay." He said, "Do you know what Tove Rose's name is?" I said, "Yes, Tove Rose." He said, "No, it's Rosenzweig." And I went, because that's my mother's family name, right. Rosenzweig.
Right.
So just one generation back. So I was pretty excited. I think that we may be related. I think it's likely that we are related. Yeah. And, there's a lot there. You're a mensch, etc. And so, I think we kind of go with the same flow. And so thank you for inviting me on your show, Tove. And I do think you are some sort of a cousin.
Yeah, same. So,
yeah,
thank you. You have a very interesting history, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on, because I promised my audience that I would introduce them to my friends and some really interesting people.
You do have interesting friends. Yes.
You are very interesting to me. So we actually have some similar background.
We do.
I worked when I was a kid. I tried to break into Hollywood as a child actor, doing commercials. It didn't work out. I also trained as a classical vocalist and dancing. I've toured. I've been involved in chaplaincy with entertainers as well.
Yes.
Actually, at one point, one of the companies that I ended up consulting for and ended up being the CEO for briefly was launched on the front page of the Wall Street Journal.
It's exciting.
Back 20-something years ago.
No, it's crazy stuff. Yeah.
And that was helping entertainers protect their social media profiles when the social media thing was just beginning.
Yeah, now they don't want it protected.
Right.
Yeah, now they want all the crazy stuff. So we get that. I don't, but they do. Yeah.
But so you have a lot of similar experiences. You have toured professionally.
Yes.
You are a filmmaker.
Yes.
And you have an incredible testimony.
I do. I have a really fascinating journey that's taken me these decades to come to. So I call myself a child of the 60s, and basically that means I was born in the 50s. So you can do the math. You're welcome to. And I grew up in the 60s, and I experienced the 60s revolution, the turbulent times that took over North America, particularly a lot of the world really, but North America, social upheaval, socioeconomic, demographics changed, but people's mindsets changed. And we went from June Cleaver, Warden June, Leave It to Beaver, we went from that, I loved that, to the Partridge Family, so that was, kind of sanitized, and then it was the 60s and the groovy hippies happened, and I was there. I always say I was there. Whenever someone says it was something, that happened at Woodstock, I go, I was there,
Right.
I was in the original, so.
Hey, you know my dad.
Yes.
He was actually a volunteer firefighter at Woodstock.
Oh wow, that's really sad. So I wasn't actually there. I actually just knew about it. I was a few miles away, but that era, I was actually on the West Coast in the Vancouver Woodstock. So, but that whole era, well, it's interesting. If you watch the movie Jesus Revolution, I've seen it 3 times. If you haven't seen it, go see it. If you're young, it's an eye opener, and it's magnificent. And if you're our age, then you go, oh wow, I was there. That's my life. We were all seekers. We were all looking, and we were looking in the wrong places. And none of us dreamed that I was writing my testimony for a man, a lovely man. He's a Hindu, Buddhist, Universalist, something. But he's a lovely gentleman. And I was explaining to him that I rejected my Jewish background. So what happened was I was raised Jewish. I went to Hebrew school from the time I was 9 through 12 years old, 4 years, 3 times a week. So I can read, write, pray, sing, daven, you name it, I can do it, except for converse. Back in those days, nobody was flying to Israel, and we didn't think it was necessary to actually speak Hebrew. Mm-hmm. So I can talk at a grade 1 level. But the things that were happening back then, it just took us by surprise. So when I was seeking truth, it was the era of the 60s. Eastern mysticism was coming into America, and we all thought that was cool, and that must have the truth, because it seemed like there was no power in Judaism or Christianity, but that wasn't true. There was power, but we didn't understand it. And so I traveled actually all over Canada, from West Coast to East Coast, and I have traveled all throughout the United States of America. Not all of the states, but I would say 2/3 of them at least. Traveling, singing, hitchhiking. My father was a traveling salesman. Sometimes I'd go with him. But my Jewish background was within my heart. It was cultural. It was how I was brought up. And I loved the feasts and the family times and all of that. But I figured it didn't have a religion that I could connect to until, so these are parts of my story you don't know. Mm-hmm. I was in Vancouver, and I was in a horrific, before I had the motorcycle accident, I was in LA, and I was making a disco record. Oh yeah, so first I'm trying to think about this. If my husband were here, he could help me. Okay, so I had a horrific accident on a motorcycle, and I flew through the air, and it is a miracle that I am alive, and I've had children and live to this day. And I was in Vancouver, and I was hit direct on while I was on a motorbike, and it was that, and I was in the hospital for 3 months with injuries. And beside me was a young woman who had a severe disease, and she was a Christian, and she started sharing with me, and I thought, well, why would you even want to be a Christian if your God is allowing you to go through this horrible thing? And I think right there is a supposition we make that we're entitled for God to make everything great for us. And the truth is, he meets us in a different way, and that's not a cop-out. If you've ever walked it, and if you know what it's like, it's not about you being entitled, it's about him being gracious. And there's a difference. Mm-hmm. And so I was in the hospital, and then I got, I recovered, and I went to work, and I met some people, and they were also Christians, but I didn't know that. And I didn't really know what a Christian was. I thought they were just church-going people. I didn't understand because of my Jewish background. And so I went down to LA to make a disco record. So this will tell you when the era of this whole thing happened.
So we were in LA about the same time.
We were in LA around the same time. I think I'm a little older than you, but I was making a disco record. So yes, I was there in Hollywood. Uh-huh. And I had a horrific experience. And I won't go into all the details of it, but I think the highlight would be to say that something had happened to me. Somebody must have put something in a drink or something that I had, and I was pretty healthy. I was a health nut, actually. And I think, but anyhow, I woke up in the middle of the night hallucinating, and it was a horrific experience with blood coming out of me, and I on my side, and I didn't know what was happening, and I crawled to the phone in my hotel room, at Hollywood and Vine, and I called these people, and they answered their phone. And that was back in the days of landlines. And they answered their phone, and I said, I think you people know how to pray. And I said, I need prayer. And so then it was the end of the 60s, and we're in the 70s then, but everybody had learned that if you were on a drug trip, which I was not by choice, but something was happening to me, vitamin C, ascorbic acid, brought down drug trips. So I had this handful of vitamin C because I was a health nut. So I took all of it and woke up alive in the morning and went home to Vancouver, British Columbia, and went to visit those friends and said, I want to understand where I would have gone if I had died. And they told me about Jesus, and I kind of made fun of that because I said, well, I visited a church and people were wearing white doilies, and I said, there's no power there. And they said, well, we challenge you on that one. So I prayed, and I don't know what happened, but a few weeks later, I had a supernatural encounter with the Lord, and I knew that He was the Lord. And then after that, and I'm making this quite quick for the sake of our podcast time here. Yeah, the longer. Yeah, this is quick. And then I went to a Women's Aglow meeting. And okay, here you go. Here's another timeline. It was the morning Mount St. Helens Blue, and I was right near there. And that afternoon, a young woman sang a brand new song. Have you ever heard Messiah has come? It says in His word to cleanse everyone. And I was like, what? The Messiah? Oh, yeah. And I realized, and I'll be honest with you, Tove, I'm more comfortable calling Jesus Yeshua. I really am. And that's not an affectation for me. I grew up with Jewish culture, and it feels better for me. Mm-hmm. But whether He's the American anglicized Jesus or the Hebraicized Yeshua, He is the Messiah of Israel, and I came to understand that. And you know how long ago that was, and I've never looked back.
Wow. One of these days, we need to record the long version.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that and have 4 podcasts.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, yes.
Yeah, there's so many stories. I mean, the hitchhiking, did I say that? No, and all the stuff that happened. Yeah.
You also toured with your husband.
Yes, I did.
Married.
So then we got
married pretty early.
I got married right away. Yeah, so what I did was I went to Bible college. So after I became a believer, I thought I got to find out what this is all about. And I went to Bible college, and there a friend of mine in my classmate introduced me to his best friend, Michael-David, my husband, and we got married within the year of meeting, and then had a baby within the year of that.
Wow.
And then started our journey. We were working full-time and ministering full-time, and you name it, and we were doing it. Mm-hmm. And in Canada, it's not like America, I can tell you that. You know, it's different. I don't know how to explain it, but back then there was no culture of itinerant ministers. Sure, so it was a hard go. Yeah.
And so you did a lot of different things over the years. You have a lot of varied experience.
Yes.
How many different careers do you think you might be qualified for at this point?
A few. And I guess I would say it to you this way. The main thing I did is in the early years, I raised my family. That was my focus. Yeah. And ministry full-time. So family and ministry, singing, writing songs. Then I started writing musicals. We've written 2 musicals. Feast of the Ages, which is a messianic musical, and Camelot Christmas Tale, which is a medieval children's Christmas tale. It's really charming. You'd make a great King Arthur. Oh my goodness, you're cast. We're done. We're doing it. That's great. Yes, I'm Tevye. Well, you're perfect, Tevye. Tevye, King Arthur. You know, you could do either of them, and it's a musical. It's got a lead singing. Yeah, no, you want to talk about that. So I loved that. I loved producing and putting the musicals on, and my husband would produce them, and he would do all the music for them and write the music. And then we had a school. We had for 6 years in Canada, which is amazing. We had a Christian Messianic arts school, and so those were very creative and beautiful, fertile days, helping children, teaching them how to think. It was a classical education school, really dedicated to teaching young people how to use their minds. You know.
Yeah, and so you've written songs.
Oh, yes.
You've done musicals.
Yes.
Plays.
Yeah.
You've made film.
We're in that right now. We've been associated with a filming company, and they're the ones who made the movies, but we now have our own screenplays.
Yeah.
And that was Cube City. I'll give them a shout out. Yeah. And they got some really, really neat films. And what happened is then we went, so after that season of raising our children, and our son went off and joined the Israeli army. And when that happened, 2010, then we started traveling the world and ministering full time. And that is a whole other podcast. We've been to Singapore, Israel, Guatemala, you name it, Barbados, Indonesia, Malaysia, and brought the harp there, and brought Messianic, and so many people loving Israel. It was so heartening. And yeah, it keeps going forward.
Okay. So let me ask you about something. I mean, you don't have to talk about it, but I think it's kind of a fun story.
Okay, sure.
You accidentally enrolled in film school.
Yes, actually. Oh no, I accidentally enrolled in Oxford University, not film school. Okay.
It was like, what, a year ago?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Just 2 years ago. Okay, and I'm 71. So at 69 years of age, it has been the dream of my life to go to Oxford. So I thought I'll sign up for some courses, the online course, right? And I was going to study creative writing. I'd already started screenwriting at that exact same year. So we were in an amazing moment where my husband had projects and was doing projects for some people in the United States. We had a visa, we had a little house, and it was like a moment where it was like a gift from the Lord for me. So, you know, pardon me for sharing how wonderful it was, but it was wonderful. It was just before the lockdowns.
Right.
And I went online and I applied for these courses, and it took me 30 days to go through the application process. And I said to my husband, man, I deserve a degree just for putting the application. And I was joking. And then they send me an email, and I have to have an interview with the dean of the department. And I said, why do I have to have an interview? You know, if you sign up for an online course at Kansas City University, I don't think you need an interview by the dean, do you? I don't know. So I said to my husband, and I was a little touchy that day, and he forgave me, because I was nervous. I was going to be talking to these British university professors, the dean of the department in Britain, and I was nervous, and we had a lot of fun. It was a great time. And 6 weeks later or so, I got an email from Oxford University congratulating me on my application and entrance into Oxford University.
That's just amazing.
And then they said, and I wasn't sure if they meant it, and they said, we will be sending you your Oxford University card. So I have a student card.
So future graduate of Oxford.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It is very exciting, and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah.
One of the things we talked about in Michael-David's podcast were people who are artists and artistic cannot stay stuck in just one thing. It's like we are often very much involved in many different kinds of creative adventures.
Often typical. Yes, absolutely.
And so you've been a musician, you've been a mom, you've owned companies.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Started companies.
Touring. Being a tour artist, touring, doing all that. That was a lot of work. This is all ministry,
and it's a lot of work
too.
Yeah, that's right.
You also have an online boutique.
Yes.
You design fashion stuff.
I
right?
do, and I want to thank you for bringing that up. Yes, I do. So what happened is, and actually you don't know how it got started.
I want to know.
It is a supernatural story. It was about 5 years ago, and a friend of mine, I was up in Canada, sent me an email, and she said, Zsiporah, I had a picture of you designing Israeli purses. And I thought, well, I don't design, I don't do art. And I thought, I don't know, that sounds cool, but what's she even talking about? How's that possible? And actually I went, that was on a Wednesday or something. By by Sunday of that week, I had 10 designs scratched out. I'm not an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started going online looking for art. And then I started, it was a long journey. I will tell you that. You'll look at the fruit of it.
Yeah.
But it actually was 2016, I think, and it wasn't until 2019 that I had the art I needed and the supplier I needed and the drop ship system that I needed. And what happened is, as I moved forward with what I was looking for, the world was helping me, because the world was creating dropship systems,
Right.
manufacturers in
Yep.
America and overseas that created products that you could put art on, and it's become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's become a thing.
Yeah.
So what's happened is I have some stores, and the stores I have 3 stores, and my oldest one is my Israel style store. And that is the one with the Israeli purses, and that still is close to my heart.
Yeah.
I should have one here. I have a bagel bag in the back room, but you can go on you have to go to Etsy. We had some glitches, but the Israel style store is still alive on Etsy. And I don't know. What you're supposed to do is go to my husband's website.
Exactly.
So that's the Michael-David.com.
Right
Oh, is that what he's
That's what
doing?
he's doing. He's just got it live.
Okay,
He's
and then you
producing
go
for
to
us.
Zsiporah's store.
Yes.
I thought he was just hinting. There's me. Oh wow, what a great pick. Okay, so then you go to Zsiporah's stores on Michael-David.com. And then there you go. So Israel Style Store is still closest to my heart, and it was my oldest store, and it's beautiful. And look at the creative. We got a bagel. You see that bagel
I like
purse?
that
Look at
one.
that. It's a Luxem bagel.
Bagel
Yeah.
purse. I
I
know
mean,
some
you'd
people
like
would
that.
buy
Oh,
that.
yeah. Okay. And then we have the wall. The wall, that is an actual photo that my husband took of the wall when we were in Jerusalem.
The Western Wall.
And the pixels, or what do you call whatever it is so excellent. And Shalom Yerushalayim, if you love Israel, it says pray for the peace of Jerusalem. You can carry that with you. So yeah, please go to my shop, and you can look at the Israel style store. And then over the years I got, so that was in 2016, 2019, 2020. And while we were all sitting down there in the lockdowns, and here's Shalom Yerushalayim and the city of Jerusalem, the Israel old city. So I started getting really creative, and I thought, well, harps, do you want to go to another one of our stores? We'll go to Story Totes, because that was, go to Zsiporah stores, and there's Story Totes. And I think, does that open up too? Look at that.
Yep.
This is because I love everybody's story. Look at that.
Wait, is that an actual picture of your dog?
Yeah, that's our dog. That's right. And it's one of our best sellers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at that. You got a poodle, you got is that Boston Terrier, a corgi, we got harps. We've got, there's the harp bag. It's absolutely gorgeous, So my husband is a harpist, so I started making harp bags for thinking of harpists. But then I thought about everybody. I thought, everybody needs a gift. It's mid-price. Okay, it's good quality. So if you know someone who loves to sew, believe it or not, that's one of my best-selling purses. Because what do you buy someone who loves to sew? What do you buy them? Buy them a purse that says, I love to sew. And so you've got sewers and dancers and writers. I've got everything, every kind of hobby or vocation. And now,
Your newest
my
store,
newest store, since we're doing that, well, thank you, Tove, for allowing me to share this. This one I love. I went crazy.
I love the design of this.
Yes, 3 months ago, I had a burst of creativity and went online, and there's a new level of commercial graphics available. So some of these I've made myself, and some of these I buy.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who puts them together. A few of them were already put together, like the Pink Dove guitar guy. You know what he did? I contacted him, told him how much I loved his art. I said, would you make me a harp? And he made me a harp. I'll show you that in a minute.
Wow. So you have a designer.
I have one by him. Yeah, and I'm amazing.
Wow.
So that one, actually, Michael, if you go to, where's his? Garments of Praise? Is that where it is? I think so. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, that one on the far left. The Black and Leopard Cosmic Harp was designed for me by this fellow, and I hope I'm going to send him this, and he can.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so that's just great. So isn't that just
Get permission.
dynamic?
Get
Yeah.
permission. We'll drop his name in the link.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
He will
okay.
love that. Yeah. So, and these others I put together, so I get art from one place, art from another. Here's the Rainbow Glory crown, oversized style tunic. Look at that. It's got gems on it.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is for people who just want to go to church
So
and
not everybody,
praise the
not
Lord.
everybody wants something that's crazy and wild.
No, that's true. So a friend of
yeah.
mine who's a harpist, she said that. So she
Yeah.
said, Zsiporah, you need something a little more classical.
Yeah,
She
these
said
are
a lot
great.
of the harp ladies like something a little more gentle, and I thought, she's right, especially the classical harpists. So I made
Yeah.
some really pretty, just some pretty t-shirts that are soft, gentle fit, so that women feel comfortable in them and just say, hey, I'm a harpist, I'm a little bit special. And these, like this black one here, that's a little more funky again, but once again, and it's got actually roses. If you go down on that, Michael, it's got roses all over the bottom. I think if you go there and go to the bottom, no, it should, anyhow. There's
Oh, you can see
roses
the
all around,
roses.
and if you get the back picture, oh, there you go. Hold on, there, and it'll show you the back in a moment. If you go a little bit lower, there, look at that, roses all around the back. So super pretty. And you know what? You don't have to be a harpist or a musician to wear these.
That's a good
because so many people, especially women, just love the harp, and rightly so. So this is for musicians. It's for lovers of music. It's for people who love the harp or the violin. So you don't have to play to buy my products and enjoy them. And we also have all sorts of gifts. We have mugs, and go to the music themed gifts. Okay, we got. My husband's gonna show you mugs and tumblers, and you see. And for some guys, if you know a guy harpist, though, that nice forest green one up there, and that one there, that's beautiful. And I have a black one and a navy one. So thank you for letting me talk about my brother. But they're beautiful, and they're born out of my creativity and my heart, and I'm trying to solve a problem. Oh, look at this, socks. My problem I'm solving is you need a gift. You need a gift to give to someone.
Yeah.
Anybody would wear those.
Now,
Your wife would like
Thank
those.
you. You've
Yeah.
also offered to help design some stuff.
I'm going to do something for you, for
us,
the
for
happy
me.
theologist.
Theologist. Yeah,
And
happy
I'm having a
theologist.
hard time with that because I actually named him the happy theologian. I did come up with that. So we have mouse pads and aprons, and so I'm coming up with all sorts of special gifts. So if people would like to go there, I think they would have a lot of fun looking.
So
at my school.
future merch.
Yeah,
designer
absolutely.
of the future merch.
It'll be
right?
coming out soon. Yeah, you were taking pictures. We're gonna,
and just so you know, so you're not the only person I know who's really artistic,
Oh,
and
no,
nor
I
your
know
husband.
that. Yeah.
So it's like I'm gonna name drop somebody here
Okay.
because I actually want them to be encouraged.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna call out
Yes.
Mariana Zaharov,
Okay.
designer, artist, who has been incredible encouragement, especially to my youngest daughter.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
And so Mariana Zaharov,
Yes.
designed a wedding dress
Oh.
that one of Ronald Reagan's daughters wore.
Oh, wow.
Actually, in the White House when she got married.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I'm
That's beautiful.
so
Yeah.
creative people tend to be attracted to and be in the same. What do you call it? What's the
Vibe,
groove,
yeah.
and movement
Yeah.
as
As each other.
orbit. That's what
Yeah,
we're looking
orbit.
for. And they tend to connect with people, with
that's
each
right.
other.
Yeah.
So the reason I wanted to bring that up,
Yes.
not just to encourage Mariana,
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. Hi.
but it also
Yeah.
because I want to encourage you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You're 71 years old, right?
71. I am 71.
You are
and I'm-
71 years old.
Yeah.
You will be graduating
And
from Oxford.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
In the not so distant future.
That's right.
Okay, so anybody who's
Yeah.
wondering, like maybe you're 20 years old, you think
Yeah.
your life is completely screwed up,
Oh, my
and you're never
goodness.
going there. Or maybe you're
I've
30,
been
maybe
there.
you're 40,
I've been
maybe
there.
you're
I was
50,
there.
and you feel like
Yeah.
you
But
what the heck has happened to me?
no,
Look
it's
at
a
this.
journey.
Be inspired by
It's a
Zsiporah.
journey. It's a journey. Absolutely. Yeah.
Be inspired by others who, like her,
Mm-hmm.
who are walking. They're pressing forward. They're continuing. They're looking for new dreams.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
God is giving
I'm with you.
answers and giving wisdom and giving discernment and giving strategies
Yeah.
to accomplish them.
Yeah. I think that's a word for people who are listening or watching. Absolutely. I'm with you, Tove. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's a prayer for you. That's that. We don't even need to pray. That's the prayer, that you will be encouraged and receive the creative inspiration. That you will be inspired and reach out and hold on to what God can give you, because He will. He will.
yes and
Spoken by people who, there's a place in the Bible that says that Paul talked about he knew how to be abased and he knew how to abound. He's been low and he's been high, like in the sense of had goodness happen to him, and he's had lowness. He's had hardships. So when people are watching and sometimes they see people who are experiencing creative renaissance or something wonderful in their life, and they think, well, you don't know what it's like. I'm just going to say, yeah, we do. Yeah, sorry, we do.
got the truth.
Been there, and I didn't want to talk about it. I'm not going to. So, we've experienced great heartache and great pain. And sometimes when people hear me sing, they, I don't look like some singer, but they're touched by something in my voice. That's what touches them. And they say, wow, what is that? And I go, it's the pain. It's the pain. Mm-hmm. The pain, the price you pay, it changes your voice and what you give. So whatever you're going through, it's valuable.
Yeah. That's good. I think we're going to end right there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Since you're watching the Happy
Shalom.
Theologist podcast,
Mm-hmm.
Shalom, take a look at the links down below. There will be some links there for you to grab. And sign up, be a paid subscriber on tovrose.substack.com and also on Apple Podcasts, and you will get the best of everything I offer and first dibs on everything too. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.